send up will keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blues.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Moomba Day. I'm assuming it is there in Melbourne. Welcome to Blue Sunday. Welcome to Blue Sunday, which is on the Jumper Punch channel. My name is Bangkok Joe, coming to you obviously from Bangkok. And joining me in the elaborate studios in Melbourne, former Carltonian president and life member of the Carlton Football Club, Mr. Vince Locciano. How are you today, Vince?
I'm good, Joe, and welcome back officially. We were hoping to have you back last week, but circumstances didn't allow for it. So it's good of you to join us from all the way over there in Thailand.
Very long story. Very, very, very long story. Stuck in the middle of nowhere, and believe me, it was nowhere. Hey, Vince, before we get on to any...
say, just before you get going, Moomba, I almost forgot it existed before you just mentioned it.
Well, I didn't even know it was on until just before, as I was getting ready for the show, I thought I'd read the Herald Sun just to see, what happened over the weekend. And it said there's some Moomba melee yesterday, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Moomba. But what's the actual holiday? Is it Labor Day, Queen's birthday?
It's Labor Day.
Labor
today
Day.
Is the Labor Day public holiday in Victoria. I think it might be a public holiday elsewhere. I think it might be Adelaide Cup Day in South Australia. So they have a public holiday as well. But
Labor Day in this country is the 1st of May. So
May Day. May Day.
Hey, Vince.
Yes.
During the off season, the Jumper Punch channel has also done a bit of recruiting, right?
Mm.
And I'm led to believe that we have a new sponsor.
Yes, we do, apparently. Or at least the Jumper Punch show does on a Tuesday night. If it's a sponsor of the entire channel, well then absolutely.
It is a sponsor of the entire channel, and it's the Sporting Globe. And I said, what did I say? Northcote, but it's at Northlands.
Northland, which is in Preston, Murray Road, Preston.
Come on, Northlands, not Northlands.
North, Norf for Fred. Northlands with an S
North
on
Melbourne. Yeah, North Melbourne, right? Franco Costa.
Yes, but the Sporting Globe over there in the Northland Shopping Centre in Preston is a really good venue, and I know that Rocco and the boys are earmarking it as the place where we're going to gather to watch Carlton interstate games. So whenever we play, any of the other teams in New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, or Western Australia, or God forbid we have another game in Tasmania before too long, that's the venue that we'll be watching it from. So
it's
a good place for all Carlton fans to gather and watch.
And just go there for a nice meal. I'm believing. Yeah. I looked at the menu before, and it looks quite scrumptious.
It's got a great menu, and every Sporting Globe's got a nice big bar, so you certainly won't go thirsty either, as long as you got some money to pay for it. It'll be a very good association, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will be. And let's get a little bit of administration out of the way before we start. As everyone knows, we are basically a social media channel, and you'll find us on Facebook at Blue Sunday, which is our channel, which is our show. And we are proudly brought to you by the guys on the Jumper Punch channel, Mars, Rocco, and Paolo. Look at all the shows. Also, hang on, I'll just remove that for a minute. Not only are we sponsored by the Sporting Globe, Vince, but my company as well, which is Retired Working for You. So anyone who wants to do anything related to Thailand, please give me a call. Rat Poison saying my microphone's very strange. I don't know why. I've just bought these headphones. So maybe what I might do is I might take them out.
I'm not sure about other people, but I'm getting a lot of crackly noises in my earpieces whenever you talk. So I don't know if it's coming out that way. I'm not sure if it's coming out that way on the other end when people are watching us, but maybe they can let us know if they're watching. I'm sure there'll be a number of our followers watching.
Let me take them out then. Okay, how's that? Is that a bit better?
That's a lot better.
Okay, so I'm
Now,
going to take
now
these
I'm not
headphones.
getting any crackling at all from you, Joe.
I'll have to take the headphones back because I paid a lot of money for them. The guy told me that they were very good. But anyway, so
there
anyway,
was more crackling there than a decent slice of roast pork. Anyway,
so we're put you retired working for you. Like I said, anything that you want to do with Thailand, please give me a call. Also, as we are a social media program, we rely on input from you, the viewing audience, not just you, Vince. And already I can see some familiar faces.
let's say hello to
Boys
some of them, shall we?
Suicide is back. Sammy Taylor, g'day Sammy. Rocco Morrow.
G'day, Rat Poison, good to see you.
And Paul. So Rat Poison saying much better, Joe. Thanks a lot, Rat. So I've got to meet Rat Poison one day. I'm coming to. Hey, Rat Poison. I don't know much about you.
Apparently, he doesn't live too close to Melbourne. I'm not sure where he is, but I was asking Rocco last week whether he was coming to the live show that they did last night, and he said no, he's a bit too far away. But maybe he can let us know roughly where he's from, even if he doesn't want to tell us exactly where he's from.
Even a state.
It'd be great to hear from our viewers. If you're watching us at the moment, send us a quick comment just to say hello if you're watching.
Yeah. Okay, so...
And also, if you went to the show last night, let us know how
it was. Let us know what happened.
Yeah, the big live show.
Bit hard for me to get there. I was in Bangkok, so but I am coming to Melbourne, so I'll probably see people at the football in the next... I'm not there for the first game, but I'm there for the round... I don't know.
Round
the
2 and 3.
second game we play and the third game we play.
Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs. You're here for the 2 home matches. Yeah.
Probably round 22 and 27, knowing the AFL.
Round 2 and round 3.
Just a quick one here. Paul, he says, evening, guys. Like the show, even though I'm a Collingwood supporter. That's great, Paul. We're happy to have you aboard.
Paul.
We don't mind. As long as everyone's nice, we can all get along. I mean...
And we do enjoy getting Collingwood supporters on, especially after they've just been whacked on the weekend.
I actually watched it. I was very surprised. I thought they played quite poor. But anyway, we'll get on to that in a minute. Hey, Vince, let's where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the 2 games at opening round? Do you want to start with
look.
Or do you hang on? We're going to follow the usual format, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking here. I think maybe we should start with a different segment because I think it's very pertinent to this discussion that we're just about to have. Right, so we're going to start with...
Well,
Vince's
it's almost like
verdict.
Rocco's rant when Rocco brings his Rocco's rant up to the front of the program. Look, thanks for doing that.
But I think it's important, right? Now, you and I had this discussion the other day. I'm stealing a bit of your thunder, but I'm just going to say something, then I'll let you go on with your verdict.
Okay.
I really don't understand the hype behind having an opening round and then only having 2 games or 4 games or 1 game. I don't understand it, right? Because I know what they were trying to do. There was last year. This year I don't understand because there was NRL games, right? Let the NRL go to Vegas. The Americans will never, ever, ever embrace rugby league. They'll never, ever embrace AFL. It's a novelty, okay? So why do we have to have this opening round of a couple of games and then the ladder skewed for 3 weeks? It's useless. It's pathetic. It serves no purpose. Two games, and I'm not being disrespectful, but they were pretty ordinary games. The Collingwood GWS game, I left at half time. I just turned the telly off. I actually watched a show on Netflix. But Vince, give us your verdict. Go for it.
Okay, well, you have touched on the topic because it's got to do with the viability, the long-term viability of this opening round concept. I was always very sceptical of it from the very start because, to me, it was a reaction. The AFL reacted to the fact that the NRL decided to go to Vegas and play a few NRL games over there. And they thought, what an opportunity this is. Let's promote our game in the northern states where rugby league is strong. And we'll have the 2 New South Wales-based teams and the 2 Queensland-based teams host home games against quality opposition, and we'll get a leg up over the NRL, and we'll steal rugby league fans, and they'll come over and be AFL fans. Well, if you've ever heard of anything more ridiculous in all your life, that's it. And quite rightly, as you say, it skews the ladder for a great portion of the year. Do you know that this year, the only time they're going to catch up on that Gold Coast Essendon game is in the very last round? Those 2 teams will be playing twice in the last round of the season, round 24. So until then, until the very last round, you're never going to have a ladder where everyone's played an equal amount of games. It's ridiculous. It's a farce. And quite frankly, I hear what you say about, you could understand why they did it last year, but you can't understand this year. I can't understand why they did it any year. I think it's stupid. The fact is, you get to round 1. Oh, how many games have you played? It's round 1. Oh, we've played 2 games. And you get to round 3. Oh, we've played 4 games. How many have you played? We've only played 3 games. It's just stupid. And it's I know it's all been thrown into chaos because of the cyclone that happened up there in Queensland over the weekend, and it's still there at the moment, although it's been downgraded now to a tropical storm now, I believe, now that it's crossed the coastline.
I believe they wanted to call it Cyclone Vince.
No, not at all. In fact, to be frank with you, it was one of the lowest category cyclones you could get with Category 1. I mean, up in far north Queensland, they don't know what all the fuss is about because they deal with Category 5 cyclones over there, which are as strong as you can get. So, nevertheless, it affected a big portion of southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. But look, you can understand why they had to cancel those games, and I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah,
obviously everyone's safety came first, and practically speaking, it would have been looking very selfish to have made those games go ahead. Look, if anything, what it should do is to make them revisit the whole concept altogether. And I think most fans would agree that they'd rather have everyone play whatever opening round is. And opening round should be round 1. And this whole concept of promoting the AFL in the northern states, that really is what Gather Round is all about. Now, Adelaide, the South Australian government's obviously been smart enough to lock in Gather Round for another 5 years or something. But really what I think they should be looking at is rotating Gather Round into different states every year. And that would make it a little bit more, even if it's not every year, give every state 2 or 3 years at a time. But we should be rotating them around. That's my opinion for Gather Round. And it ties in with this opening round business because really the whole idea was to promote the game in the northern states. I don't think it's working. And frankly, over this weekend, we've seen 2 games, one against, one Sydney and Hawthorn on Friday night. Then the Saturday, there was nothing. And then yesterday, we get that game in Sydney, GWS in Collingwood. And here we are, public holiday Monday, and there's no games. Football.
Well, Sammy D says that. Sammy had a good point.
Yeah.
The AFL is so stupid, should have started this long weekend in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And can you imagine if all 18 teams were playing in this opening round, as in round 1? Make it round 1 and have all 18 teams play. If you want to have the games up in Queensland and Sydney, that's fine. You can still schedule them all up there. But why does that mean that the southern states and the western states don't get to enjoy any football? I think they really need to, become realistic about this and give the fans what they want. I think the majority of people don't want this concept. I think they want a return to 18 teams and 9 games in round 1.
For the life of me, I just don't understand. You got a public holiday, kids are home. There's no Moomba. Well, no. Wouldn't it have been? I believe it's a very hot day there in Melbourne too.
It is. It's been a hot weekend. In fact, all 4 days have been pretty warm, and it's going to continue into next weekend as well. But
could you imagine if they played Carlton Richmond or Collingwood Essendon or something today?
Well, my point is this. What would have been wrong with having all 18 games? And if you want to promote them in every state, that's fine. Have games in Queensland, New South Wales. In fact, most weeks I think you'll find that Fremantle and West Coast rotate their home games. If it's West Coast this week, Fremantle will play away, and the reverse will happen the following week. The same thing happens with Adelaide and Port Adelaide, Sydney and GWS, and Brisbane and Gold Coast, unless they're playing each other, of course. So, by all means, schedule all these games to happen and have one or two in Melbourne, but at least give us something.
Yeah, I
really
don't understand.
It throws the ladder out of whack, throws everything out of whack.
I just they call themselves okay. So we understand about cancelling the games, even though Rat Poison, who lives up at Broadbeach, says it's a bit of a media beat up. Probably is, but we want to see people safe, and it's good that he's safe.
Yeah,
but I just don't get it. Why even scheduled to play 4 games? I mean, could you imagine the NFL doing this like the Americans? They don't do shit like this.
No.
They understand the value of their audience.
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
But what I'm trying to say is that you can actually have your cake and eat it too here. You can promote the game in those northern states without denying the other states some football at the same time. Why does all of the focus have to be on just Sydney and Brisbane, where they're going to have 2 home games in each state to Sydney, GWS, Brisbane and Gold Coast? Why does it have to be just those 4 clubs holding home games? I don't understand it.
No. Well,
anyway.
Well, what's the AFL chief's name? Dylan. Dylan.
Andrew Dillon.
Andrew Dillon. He's obviously a keen observer of the show. So, Andrew, former Xavier boy, feel free to explain your stupidity. I mean, your reasoning behind only having 4 games, which in the end being 2.
You're a former Xavier boy, aren't you, Joe?
And you? Can't you tell how stupid we are?
Oh, well, 2 out of 3. Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, isn't it, for having brains? But Andrew Dillon's let the team down.
I know. Anyway, most of the people I've spoken to agree. And so are our audience. It's just stupid. I mean, I don't get it. Anyway, but Vince, of those 2 games that did play, right? Let's have a look at the scores.
Okay.
So I know you don't have any internet at the moment, but I've put them up for you on the screen. So Hawthorn 14-12-96 defeated Hawthorn 11-10-76.
Defeated Sydney.
Defeated the Swans, sorry. And even that game had a fair bit of rain in it too. So
it did. In
the end, that probably wasn't a good spectacle either.
And
then yesterday at NG Stadium, GWS Giants 15-14-104 defeated the Filth 6-16-52. And I'm sure a lot of Collingwood supporters are not happy about that score of 6-16. Some of the shots I saw them miss. They just didn't look like a team that were interested. I don't know if they went up to NG Stadium to go hit the pokies or hit the cross or something, but they weren't up there to play. They weren't up there to play football. But anyway, never mind.
I think they were terrible, Collingwood, and we're going to go over our predicted ladders a bit later on, aren't we, Joe?
Oh, I did. I must admit, I didn't have time to put them up. So, but we'll just read out it. No, I got caught up with.
You're just going to put mine up. You're just going to put mine up.
No. I got caught up with a client that I've got here at the moment. So, but we'll go. We'll read through. You can read it through, and people can have a go at us.
Okay.
So does that mean that Collingwood are at the bottom of the ladder?
That's if I can remember what I had.
Oh, I've got it. I'll read it out. Does that mean that Collingwood's at the bottom of the ladder?
At the moment, they are.
Anyway,
look, it's GWS. It just has to show you that you can make too much of practice match form, because the previous week we towed them up by around 10 goals over there, and now all of a sudden 1 week later, without Jesse Hogan, their Coleman medalist, and without Jake Stringer, their recruit from Essendon, they ended up toweling up Collingwood by 52 points. I mean, it just goes to show you can overread the practice match form.
Well,
I don't think they were going even more than half pace last week against us, and certainly the tackling pressure was a lot more telling yesterday compared to the practice match. That's for sure.
Got a few other comments about this opening round. Wayne, keep neglecting Victoria. The home of football will only lose supports to other distractions. So yeah. So I thought the Giants played quite well, but let's face it, Vince. You can only play as good as your opposition let you to. You know.
Oh, for sure. Look, I thought the GWS were very, very impressive, and when they do get those key targets back in their forward line, they'll be even more potent.
Yeah.
But then we, of course, had Sydney Swans still reeling from their 10-goal loss in last year's grand final and the loss of their coach, John Longmire. And I think that they might be in for a turbulent season, Sydney. I know that they've got some quality players like Isaac Heaney and Chad Warner, and Errol Goulden's out injured for quite a while now because he sustained a serious injury in the practice match about a week ago. But I have my concerns about the Sydney Swans now. And Hawthorn showed them up, and they went over there, and they've just proven that last year was no fluke.
No, exactly. So, Vince, that brings us to, I guess we call it round one, where everyone plays. And we've got our Mighty Blues playing the Tigers, right?
Yes, now, on Thursday night.
We've put up, so this is Vince's expected or his team for round one. I'll read it out for you. He's got Jack Silvani, Wiedering, Cowan.
I'm sure if Lana's watching, she'll be happy to see the name Silvani there in the back line.
Yeah.
I thought he did quite well in that practice match in the back line.
Yeah, I thought so too. So then you got Sard, Haynes, McGovern, Akers,
assuming McGovern's not injured from that practice match, because he looked like he'd done something, but they reckon he's all right.
Akers, Cripps, Camporeale, L.
Well, that's been announced by the club that he will be playing his first game. So I'm putting him on the wing straight away.
Okay. Holland Z, that's Elijah. Kemp, Fogarty.
Well, the only reason why Kemp's there is because Charlie Curnow has been ruled out of that match. So I've had to look at who's available and who's not. If Curnow was available,
I'm sure
Kemp would have been on a half-forward flank playing as a third tall. But as it turns out, I think we're going to need him to play a centre-half forward or full forward role with Harry Mackay, swapping and changing there.
Then you got Motlop, McKay, and Zach Williams. Then in the rucks, you got De Koning, Chera, Walsh. And
they reckon that Walsh should be fit enough to play, so I'm going to put him there. Yep.
Yeah. And then on the bench, you've got Ollie Hollands, Doherty, Hewitt, Fantasia, and you got sub as Cottrell. I think my team is basically similar, but I've got a few players in different positions. So
okay, who have you got?
Well, I've put Silvani, Wiedering, Doherty at the back. I think they'll start Doherty, and he'll interchange probably with Cowan or maybe even someone on the halfback, maybe Sard. Or I think they're going to use Doherty as a bit player. He's not going to be out there for the whole game.
A bit here and a bit there.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they play him as a sub, to be honest. But, he's getting on. Then I got Sard. I've put Haynes at centre half back, and McGovern if he plays. If McGovern doesn't play, well then Cowan will come straight in for his spot.
Yep.
Then on the wing, I've got Akers, Cripps, and Ollie Hollands. I think they'll start with Ollie Hollands. I don't know if they'll start with Lucas Camporeale, but then I got Elijah Hollands, Kemp, Fogarty. I got Motlop, McKay, Williams, De Koning, Chera, and Walsh if he's playing. And then I've got Camporeale on the bench, Cowan, Hewitt, Fantasia with Cottrell.
So same 23 players then, Joe.
Yes, But let's have a look at this, Vince, which is interesting. So our injuries. So we've got Ben Camporeale out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've got Alex Chincotta. He's got a hip to be confirmed.
Probably
Charlie
going to be
Curnow.
at least a couple of months, Chincotta.
Yeah. Charlie Curnow, even if he was sort of fit, I don't know if I'd risk him against Richmond. They don't look
We don't need
dangerous. I don't even know who a Matt Duffy is, but he's injured. Corey Durden.
Matt Duffy's an Irish recruit.
Okay. Then
He was actually recruited about 18 months ago and should have been on the list last year, but he did a serious knee injury and was basically replaced by another player. But they've honoured that commitment and given him a spot on the list this year. He's number 41 this year, Matt Duffy.
Okay. Corey Durden, ankle 4 to 6 weeks. Rob Monaghan.
He's another Irish recruit that came onto the list last year and can't see him getting a game, to be honest. But anyway, yeah.
Nick Newman, he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Hudson O'Keefe's done his hamstring, 3 to 5 weeks.
That's a young up-and-coming ruckman who hasn't played a senior game yet.
Yeah. Then you got Mark Pitnet, 5 to 6 weeks with a calf.
Well, that just goes to show there's both of our backup ruckmen are on the injury list. So, geez, you'd want to hope that nothing happens to Tom DeConnie.
Or Jack Silvani.
Well, that too, but especially DeConnie.
Then you got Jagger Smith, unfortunately, did his knee.
Yeah,
and
Sam
sad. Walsh is a test.
I think Sam Walsh should be right.
But I wouldn't risk him anyway. Even if he's like 80%. I don't think against Richmond.
Well, if they don't risk him, if they don't risk Walsh, we've both got him in our team as the rover. You'd be bringing in Cooper Lord because I've got Cooper Lord as my first emergency, as a matter of fact, along with Ashton Moyer. Francis Evans, the recruit that we got from Port Adelaide, I think he'll be an emergency as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think who was my other... probably Jordan Boyd. I think Jordan Boyd... I don't know whether he played any practice matches. I'm not sure whether he's right.
I thought he was injured.
He's not on the injury list. That's the thing.
No.
So if he's not on the injury list, you'd have to assume he's available. But I don't know that he's played enough football and practice matches and gotten up to match fitness yet. They might start him in the VFL, and then if he plays really well, then they'll bring him back in.
What do you think of Lou's comment? Get rid of the Irish players. Won't make it.
Yeah, well, they take up 2 spots on the list, don't they?
No, I think they should have them as backup players. But it's just, I mean, are you going to find another Zach Tui? I mean, or Jimmy Steins? I don't know. Maybe they were 1 in a million. I don't know. Anyway, Vince, tell me what's going to happen in the game, given that Richmond are not expected to be that good this year. I'm hearing people say this could be the first team to go through a season not win a game for a long time.
I'll be honest with you. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out. We normally get to see a bit of a trend by about round 6 or 7 as to which teams are going to be the stronger ones and which teams are going to be the weaker ones. Mind you, Brisbane lost their first 4 or 5 matches last year and ended up winning the flag. So, look, it'll be interesting to see how they go. I can't see them winning any matches at all unless it's against literally the bottom 2 or 3, such as a West Coast. I don't even put North Melbourne in that category anymore. I think North Melbourne will improve actually this year. I can see West Coast being the only other team that they could realistically have a win against.
The last team that went through the season to not win a game was Fitzroy in 1964.
Wow.
So
over 60 years ago.
So yeah. Shane. Oh, there you go. Peter Bobblehead. Harry to kick more goals than the Tigers.
That's Peter Vlahos. G'day, Peter. Good to have you back with us.
Shane says that maybe Akers off a halfback instead of Ollie. To me, Akers is a better defensive player. Put Walsh and Campo on the wings. Could be a go. Where
are you going to play Ollie though?
On the wing.
If you don't, no, he's not saying that. He's saying put Walsh and Campo on the wings. So what are you going to do with Ollie Hollands? Where are you going to play him? That's my only question to Shane there. He's suggesting that they should put Akers on a halfback flank instead of Ollie. Now, I think that they've been training. I think in all the pre-season, Ollie Hollands has been concentrating on playing off halfback. Jack Silvani's been practicing playing deep in defence, and Brodie Kemp has been practicing up on the half forward line. So that's the new positions for those three players, I think. That's what they're earmarking them for anyway. So, yeah, I think they'll be rotating players off that half-back line, whether it's, Sam Doherty, Ollie Hollands, Lockie Cowan. These guys will all be coming off the half-back line, Adam Sard. So we've got a number of options that we can play off half-back, and I'm sure that they'll be trying to keep it as flexible as possible so that we have lots of options at both ends of the ground, as well as in the middle.
So Vince, I think it's going to be a pretty easy game, really, for the Blues.
Look, I don't expect us to have any issues. I know that we won't have Charlie Curnow there. That's not ideal. Obviously, we want him there, but he's coming back from that knee surgery, and they want to make sure that he's absolutely right before they play him. I wouldn't even have an issue if they decided not to play him against Hawthorn, but. They reckon he'll be right for that game. Let's see.
Where do you see Sarge? Do you think we should be playing him wing than halfback?
Look, that's a good call. And by the way, we've just found out that that's Alessandro, ALR.
Okay.
I think that's a good point. I think Adam Sard, to some extent, while he's generally played off the halfback flank for us ever since he came to the club, I think there's a case to be made where you could say, let's throw him a bit further up and see if we can break the lines and start giving us a bit of drive into that forward line rather than playing him deep in defence or even off the half-back line. But I think still most of the year they'll still play him off half-back, I believe.
Yeah, he's not very defensive, but I think he can break the lines, and I think that's what they want him to do. What do you think about Michael Voss's tenure as coach? Do you think there'll be pressure on him if we're not up to what the club want? Like if we're losing games or...
Tell me any Carlton coach that's not under pressure if they don't deliver what the club wants. I do think this, put it this way, if you're asking me what's a pass mark,
yeah,
I think most Carlton supporters now would be saying it's got to be top four this year. It's got to be a top four finish at the end of home and away. Ideally first, obviously, or second because you get the home finals, but at least top four, and with a view to making it through to the very last weekend in September. I think that's now the expectation. If we only make it just into the finals, somewhere between 5th and 8th, that'll be the second year in succession that we finish in that bottom part of the 8. If we win our first final and then go out in the second week, well, that's a little bit like halfway between what happened last year and the year before. So I think he'll be safe, but it'll still be a frustrated fan base. If we only did what we did last year, and that is fall into the 8 and then go out after the first week, I think everyone will be pouring the pressure on the following year, which will be the last year of his contract. And if we don't make the 8 at all, I think there'll be some very serious discussions taking place at Icon Park about what we do about that result. If we don't make the 8, and by the way, Nathan Buckley came out during the week. You may not rate Nathan Buckley as a commentator, or maybe you do, but he had made a case for why he believes Carlton won't make the 8 this year.
Yeah.
Now, if that eventuates, I think Michael Voss is in serious trouble.
Coming from a guy who left
the pass mark's got to be top 4, and the ideal result, obviously, is to make a grand final and win it.
I don't listen to any commentators. Nathan Buckley left. a club to play in a premiership, and the club that he left won the next 3. So what's that tell you about his judgment?
Oh, hang on. He left Brisbane in 1993. Oh, sorry, he played 1993 in Brisbane and went to Collingwood for the 94 season. They won their premierships in 2001, 2 and 3. I think that's a decent amount of time after. But anyway, I take your point.
Useless.
Anyway, look, I think you'll find... Oh, there's Carl's. The beautiful Carl's saying hello. Very nice to see you, love. Did you? Hey, let me know. Did you go to the Jumper Punch show last night over in Reservoir? I couldn't make it myself. I had plans over the long weekend, but be interesting to find out whether they all went. So, yeah, I think getting back to your question, Joe, expectations of Michael Voss, I think if we're not up in the top 4, he'll be under some level of pressure. If we're in the 8, it'll be okay, yeah, well, we made it, but we didn't really go all that far. And then the real pressure will come on in 2026. I can't see his contract being extended at all unless we literally make top 4 and get into at least a preliminary final, if not a grand final. Otherwise, they'll just let it ride for season 2026 and see how he goes next year. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people say, oh, you can't do that to a coach. It puts him under pressure. Rubbish. A contract is a contract. If you've got to coach the rest of your contract, coach out the rest of your final year before you know whether you're going to get another one, so be it. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know if we want to replace him, Rambo, because...
I'm not saying you need to replace him, and don't get me wrong, I haven't got it in for Michael Voss. I'll back him until they sack him. But the fact of the matter
that might be next week.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I don't believe there's any justification for extending a coach's contract unless he has performed to your expectations. He is in charge of this team, and unless they achieve collectively what we as fans expect, why should anyone get an extension to a contract? I'll tell you one thing that frustrates me is that coaches generally get 2 to 3 years, right? Unless they first go there, sometimes like an Alistair Clarkson, who's got a history of having made, having achieved premierships. He got 5 years straight up. I think when Ross Lyon went to St Kilda, they gave him 5 years straight up. But most coaches only get 2 or 3 years, right? But players, right now, you're hearing contracts that are 6 and 7 years and all this sort of stuff. It's madness. And you can tell straight away, as soon as they get the long 7-year deal, where's the urgency? It's all gone. I'm not a great believer in signing up players for 7 years. I'm just not. I think it makes them complacent. But that's my opinion. Other people may agree or disagree. But I'm telling you, you can just see, but like comments there, Rambo, I agree, no more excuses. Voss, to get it done or you're gone. It just goes to show you that people put the heat on the coach. They don't put the heat as much on the players as they do on the coach. It's always the coach that cops it in the neck if the team doesn't succeed. And yet the coach is only on a 2 or 3 year deal and the players get 5, 6, 7 year deals. Craziness.
Vince?
Craziness.
Your friend Carl's, it's her birthday.
Oh, it's her birthday?
Yeah, so
where?
Happy birthday from all of us here.
Oh, right. It was your birthday yesterday, Carls, or was it today? I'd love to know whether it's yesterday or today.
No, I think
Paul Sebastiani.
It's yesterday.
Paul Sebastiani's birthday was yesterday as well.
Yes,
and while we're talking about birthdays on yesterday, apart from Paul Sebastiani, you'll be glad to know it was a former Carlton champion's 60th birthday yesterday. Who am I talking about? Who am I talking about, do you reckon, Joe?
Not David.
No. David Rees-Jones? No.
Yeah.
He's already 62.
Rats?
No. Nope. He's one of the favourite sons. He's one of Carlton's favourite sons. Played in defence. He was a real staunch Carlton man. Come on, where's the chat? Tell us who you think it is, chat. Put up all the answers, Joe.
Well, no one's put any answers.
In the chat, tell us who you think it is.
No one's put any.
He was one of our favourite sons.
Peter McConville?
you got the first name right. He played in the 1987 and 1995
Peter Dean.
Teams. Peter Dean, that's the one. Correct.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Number 35 for
Big-
Carlton. He turned 60
Big
yesterday.
supporter of the show. Doesn't miss an episode.
No, never. So happy birthday to Peter Dean. Happy birthday to Paul Sebastiani. And happy birthday to the lovely Carl's Scroll. Now.
There you go. I'm 10th of March. Polo's 9th.
Okay, there you go. So you're today, darling. Happy birthday to you. If I'd have known in advance, I would have prepared
Send a
something
cake
for you. Yeah, I'd have a cake. I'd start eating some cake for you.
Hey, now, I'm changing the subject a bit here, but
Yes, mate.
I watched the football yesterday. Is that Eddie Maguire's son that's a special comment? Xander?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he got that by ability. Didn't
It's
he?
who you know, not what you know in this world, isn't it? Isn't that what they say? It's who you know, not what you know.
I know nobody.
I don't know. Look, on one hand, the easiest thing to say is, he only got the job because of Eddie. Well, he'd have to have a certain level of talent and certain level of ability to be able to sustain a job like that. It's one thing to get it. If you're no good at it, you'll be very quickly found out. So I tend to say, let's give the young guy a go and see how he travels.
No way.
Well, I mean, there's another example of fathers and daughters or fathers and sons. Tim Lane's daughter, Samantha Lane. She's someone else who became a journalist and then a commentator and then went on to Channel 7. And so, she held her own for quite a few years. Just because you're someone's daughter or son doesn't mean you can't do it too.
But I don't like it. And I agree, Rocket. That's when I looked at him. I thought,
he's got a head like Eddie.
I thought, what the hell is this?
Me, you reckon?
I'm being mean. So let's put up our by the way, we should mention, normally we have a third person that joins us. But
yes,
David
mention that.
David Rees-Jones, the hyphen.
He'll be with us next week.
He'll be with us next week. He's is he gone away or something with his family?
He's away. He's away on this long weekend, and he'll come and review the games. So there's probably not much value we would have added today anyway, to be honest, other than just to have a general chat with us. But his main value to our show is in reviewing the games, giving us his thoughts on what happened, why it happened, who he thought played well, who he thought could have done better, and just give us his overview of each Carlton game every week. So we're very glad to announce that, yes, the Norm Smith medalist from 1987 himself, David Rees-Jones, will be with us as of next Sunday night. So make sure you tune in at 7:30 to hear his review of the game.
And Vince, maybe we might even try and get one or two other past players if you got some time. As not every week, but maybe every so often we might get someone who. Well,
there'll be some weekends, no doubt, where David won't be able to be on the show for various reasons. They might be family reasons or other commitments that he's got. So on those particular Sundays where he can't make it, we'll try and get another past player instead to give us his thoughts.
Now, Vince, these are the comments we always get. Will Peter Brown come back? No, he's hung up the golden microphone.
Well, I think I'm going to try and get Brownie back at least to make a what do they call those appearances?
Cameos.
Cameo appearance here and there. So I'll try and drag him by the ear if I can. Not that would be very easy, but we'll get him back one day and he can come and say hello on the show. But
Rocco,
I do catch up with Brownie every now and again, and he's going well. He's doing a bit of travelling with his wife at the moment.
Rocco, it is a great background. It's Optus Oval, Princess Park, whatever you wish to call it. So
I'll try and give you a decent background as of next week. How's that?
Oh, hang on, people can send in who they'd like, but this is the one we want.
Minton Connell.
I reckon you should try and get Rod Galt.
Simon Minton Connell played for more clubs than you've had hot dinners.
How about this?
Greg Towns. Now, who can tell us what number Greg Towns used to wear back in the 70s for Carlton? Apart from Rat Poison, of course.
9.
Does anyone else remember?
Isn't it 9?
Yeah, he had Paddy Cripps' number.
Yeah. What about Jed Lamb?
Jed Lamb? Yeah, number 13.
They're all coming back. What about this guy?
Ross Ditchburn. Yes, number 8 in the 1982 grand final. Didn't last very long. Got knocked out. But he still got a premiership medal around his neck.
What about Warren Ralph?
Yes, another great Western Australian who came to Carlton in a blaze of glory. Kicked 9 goals in his first game of football for Carlton. Then I think he kicked 6 goals in the following game. Then after that, could barely touch it. And they ended up dropping him.
I went back to WA.
After about 6 or 7 games. Yeah, he ended up going back to WA. And he did win Taslotto, you're right, Joe.
Yeah, one Taslotto.
How much he still got of that money, I'm not really sure. But anyway.
Probably none.
Good luck to him. Good luck to him.
So
he was a full forward that was very much reliant on leading up the ground, marking it at around about the 50 meter line, and he could kick the ball longer than anyone else I ever knew that could kick a drop punt. Seriously, even longer than the great Brendan Favola. Warren Ralph could kick the ball so accurately and easily 60 metres every time.
Vince, we've set the bar very high.
Josh Bootsma, please. Okay, this is the comedy hour now on Blue Sunday.
I've got one for you.
You know what? You know the worst thing about Josh Bootsma coming to Carlton?
What?
Whoever made the decision to give that clown, number 21, did that Guernsey a complete disservice, and it was an utter disgrace that he should have been given a number of a former champion in Craig Bradley.
What about this guy?
I know Lucas Camporeale will do that jumper a hell of a lot more justice than what Josh Bootsma ever did. No, it wasn't Anthony Angwin.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
What's his name?
No. His first name was Lawrence.
That's it, Lawrence Angwin.
Lawrence Angwin, yeah. And
did you get him? He's probably in some.
And he was good mates. He was a good mates with another troublemaker called Carl Norman. And the two of them were like,
thick as thieves.
Thick as thieves, like Bonnie and Clyde.
I know we don't like rumours and all that, but gee, some of the stories going around about that Ugle Hagen, they can't be true.
Oh, there are a lot of stories going around. You'd like to think that they're not true, but sometimes, Joe, where there's smoke,
there's a barbecue.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, but I think he might be a bit of a problem child. This bloke, he's a very talented footballer when he's on song, but there's a lot of stories coming out of the Western Bulldogs about him being a real problem. So whoever takes him on, if they're going to get rid of him, whoever takes him on is obviously taking a punt. That they're going to be able to turn him around. I don't know where he's best suited. Maybe you should wait for the new Darwin team.
Maybe. Vince, we were talking about this guy before the show.
Luke's. All I can say is it's nice to know I was right about someone all along.
Anyway, so let's put up the tips.
Hey, and by the way, Joe, I noticed that a lot of Carlton people who were very besotted, if I can use that word, by the arrival of Luke Sayers as our president 3.5 years ago, who were literally frothing at the mouth to have even the opportunity to talk to him on some of these podcasts and what have you. It's amazing how they're all gone deadly quiet now. Anyway, these are our tips for this week, are they, Joe?
Yeah, but he was hacked, Vince. Yes, those are our tips for this week.
So, he wasn't hacked, mate. He wasn't hacked at all. Anyway, Reece. Yeah, so Reece is going for Carlton by 26 points. The number on his back. I actually think this week that if we're any good, we've got to be able to beat Richmond by at least 10 goals. I'm going for 12 goals. I'm going for 3 goals a quarter. If we can't outscore that young list, who have gotten rid of so many of their better players from last year, such as Daniel Rioli, and Liam Baker and what's his name that went to Fremantle? Shea Bolton. And now they've also got Noah Bolter out because of all of those ridiculous reasons that he's ended up getting out. So I can't see how they're going to be able to stop us from outscoring them by 3 goals a quarter. Should be able to do that. I'm tipping Carlton by 12 goals. Wouldn't even be surprised if it was 100 points in the end.
Lana's got 78.
Yep.
Wayne, Rocco, 168. Well, don't know about that.
I'm not sure about that.
Wayne, 66.
Okay, that's
Peter,
1 goal less than I think.
69. I saw someone before that said Carlton by 100 points. Can't remember who it was.
I think we're all expecting a pretty telling victory, and the markets suggest, I think the line, as we'll find out soon when it comes to our bet of the week, the line is at around 49.5 points, I think it might be. So
yeah,
even the market is suggesting that we should outscore them by at least 2 goals a quarter. I think we should be able to outscore them by 3 to 4 goals a quarter. But anyway, let's see what happens.
Okay. Now, Vince, as I didn't get time to write up these final 8s, I'm going to read out your final 8, okay? Mm-hmm. So just bear with me.
Yep.
Where'd you put it? Okay, so Vince has got this, and I'm assuming this is in order, yeah?
In order after finals are played.
What, at the end of the season or as the finals?
No. This is where I think the teams will finish at the end of the home and away.
Okay, all right. So Vince has got GWS, Geelong, Hawthorn, Brisbane, Carlton in 5th, Fremantle, Adelaide, and Essendon. Okay.
Yeah, Adelaide and Essendon are probably the 2 controversial selections because they're the teams that I'm predicting will jump into the 8. What we find most years is that there's at least 1, if not 2 or 3 changes to the 8. And I believe that there are some clubs that are going to be going through some turmoil and may, in fact, even sack their coaches before the end of the year. One of them's, in fact, even announced that their coach is not going to be there next year, and that's Port Adelaide with Ken Hinkley. And I think that's going to have a very destabilising effect on that club, so much so that despite finishing second last year, I've actually tipped them to finish well out of the 8. That's how much of an impact I think this sort of thing can have. Why the Port Adelaide hierarchy decided that it was a good time to make this sort of announcement before the season even starts, I don't know. I think they've got rocks in their head for doing that. But anyway, there are
I'll
some
tell you
clubs.
my
I think that there's going to be trouble at the Western Bulldogs. I think there's going to be trouble at Port Adelaide. There's going to be already showing signs that Sydney are already waning. I think Melbourne will probably do away with Simon Goodwin before the end of the year because I think he's on the skids. So there's going to be 4 or 5, I think, that, unless there's an unexpected jump into the 8, I think they're probably going to say goodbye to their coaches.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you my final 8, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go Brisbane on top, GWS. Okay. Yep. Brisbane, GWS, Hawthorn, Geelong, Carlton, Fremantle, Collingwood, and Gold Coast.
Okay, so you've tipped Gold Coast to finally make the 8 after all this time, 15 years.
I think they will.
That's a reasonable call. I think I tipped Gold Coast to finish 9th. I thought that they'd come close, but not just failed to make it.
I can't see Essendon making the 8. I can't see them being better than last year. Look, again, this is all dependent on injuries and stuff like that too.
Of course, naturally.
The clubs that I agree with you that more to say the clubs I don't think can make the 8. Obviously, Richmond and West Coast and North Melbourne are 3. I'm tipping North Melbourne will improve this year. I think I tipped them to finish around 12th or 13th. 12th. But I don't think that they'll make the 8. But I think that they will jump out of the bottom 4. Yeah, I'm not putting them in any order. I'm just telling you clubs I don't think that can make the 8.
Okay.
Richmond, West Coast.
Yep.
North, and St Kilda. I don't think they can.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
I tip Sydney to have a big fall, and I tip Port to have a big fall.
Me too.
I think the big improvers may be Adelaide.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I've chosen Adelaide to go into the game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
I
one
think
bloke who's going to have a major impact on where Adelaide finishes this year. It's
Who's
number
that?
7. Number 7. He looks like an absolute beast of a man up there. The key forward, Riley Thilthorpe, number 7 for Adelaide. If he can stay fit and healthy, my word, what an imposing player he is.
Now,
Anyway,
just as a side,
yep.
I've got Chat GPT, right? So I asked Chat GPT, tell me the top 8 for the AFL. And this is Chat GPT says after thoroughly, all this thing about all this analysis,
analysing everything. Yeah.
Here is their top 8. Collingwood to finish on top. Brisbane.
Collingwood. I'll tell you what, they got off to a pretty poor start yesterday.
Brisbane. Melbourne. Sydney. GWS. Port Adelaide. Fremantle and Hawthorn.
Okay, can you do me a favour? As much as I think that's ridiculous, let's keep a copy of that and revisit it at the end of the year, and then we'll see how close to reality Chat GPT is in its predictions.
I'll put it up on our webpage, right?
Okay.
If people want to send in their top 8s, what I'll try and do is I'll try and collate it. I'll have it. So for if you get a correct position, you get 3 points.
Okay.
If you get the team that finishes in the 8 but not in the correct position, you get 1 point. All right? Okay. And if your team doesn't, so the maximum number.
What's the winner going to get other than a hand clap?
No, I'm going to try and get them a voucher from an online retailer to the value of about $250. So that's something I'm working on. Okay, but I can't disclose that just yet. I'm looking at a minor sponsor for a weekly prize.
That'll be good.
It's a well-known online retailer. So I know someone there.
I'll tell you one thing I'd like to introduce next week. We've got to talk during the week. I want to introduce a little quiz every week on our show, and the first correct respondent on the chat will be our prize winner for the week.
And what's the prize? Gets a date with Vince.
This is what I'm. No, that's the punishment for those who get it wrong. No, we'll get something from somewhere, but I just want to introduce a little quiz as of next week. So we're going to have to talk about that and prepare what it might be. But anyway, those of you who love your footy trivia, I'll come up with a question every week, and whoever can answer it correctly, you can be the prize winner for the week if you're the first one that we receive on our chat line on YouTube.
And Vince, do you know what it's time for now?
Tell me, Joe.
We're in the money. We're in the money.
It's time for Big Vincenzo's bet of the week. Now
we're in the money, are we?
We haven't lost yet. So of course we're in the money.
All right.
Same rules as last year.
Right.
Vince is going to put in $50. I'm putting in $50. We're going to give the money to a charity. We haven't decided which one it is because
that's if we have any money left at the end of the year.
Well, I've confidence in you, Vince, because we had a chat during the week about the bets.
Righto.
I don't want you having 6 legs.
We're not going to have 6 and 7 leg bets. We're going to have 4. We're going to do it a bit like the front bar, 4-leg multi.
Yeah, or you might just have a straight out. So this is Big Vincenzo's bet for this week.
Okay, I thought we'd start off with a 4-leg multi. We're going to go with betting at the line this week. So I've chosen 4 games.
Vince, before you go on, can you explain to those people who aren't very good at gambling what betting at the line means?
Okay, right. So what we're going to do is, for example, I'll try and explain it. The first leg of the 4 is Carlton. And if you want the $1.90 which is what they pay you for a winning bet at the line. We're saying Carlton at the line minus 49.5 means that we've got to win by at least 50 points, right? So
50 or more points.
Carlton at the line, it means we've got to win by 50 or more points to get through. If we went for Richmond at the line, what we would be saying is that we're backing Richmond to lose by no more than 49 points. Okay? So
Vince,
I'm suggesting that Carlton should be able to win this game by more than the 49.5 points. So therefore, we're going with Carlton at the line, and that pays us $1.90. Now, all of these 4 bets, you multiply the $1.90 each time, and it accumulates to be $13 at the end of it. That's what you see there, the odds, multi-bet odds, $1.90 by $1.90 by $1.90 by $1.90 equals $13.03. So if we outlay $10, we get back $130.30 at the end of it. So,
explain the North Melbourne plus 20 points.
Okay. So what we're saying here is, I'll just do each one, right? So we're saying Carlton at the line, so we have to win by at least 50. Geelong
Carlton
at
have
the
to
line
win.
again. Okay, Geelong at the line against Fremantle, we're saying that they will win by at least 14 points. Okay? That's what minus 13.5 means.
Okay.
North Melbourne at plus 20.5 means we're backing North Melbourne to either win the game or to lose by no more than 20 points. If they lose by 21 points or more, we've lost. Okay? And that means the bet's gone. So
what about if they win?
Oh, well, obviously, if they win, they're fine because we've got 20.5 points to spare here.
No, so I understand. I'm trying to.
Plus 20.5 means that we've got in the bank, if you like, no more than 20.5 points to play with. So the reason for the 0.5 is to just distinguish between 20 and 21.
So I just want you to explain.
We're tipping North Melbourne to win or to lose by no more than 20 points.
Okay.
If they lose by 21 points or more, we've lost. Okay. Adelaide is the last leg, and we're saying there that they should be able to beat, I think it's St Kilda, isn't it?
Yeah.
By at least 16 points. If they win the game, but only win it by, say, 8 points, we've lost. Because we're backing them to win by at least 16 points.
Okay. I just wanted you to explain it to people who aren't punters.
It's a bit complicated when you first hear about it, but once you get your head around it, it makes sense after a while. So the team that's nominated is the team that we are backing to win by at least that amount of points if it's a negative number. If it's a positive number, it means that we're backing them to win or to lose by no more than that positive number.
Okay. Fair enough. Just
if anyone's confused by that, send me a message and I'll try and explain it better next time. But anyway, I think that's pretty clear.
Damn,
so let's hope that our first $10 investment will get us $130 if it all comes off. Rocco, yes, I still own my home and my family haven't disowned me. Thanks for the explanation, Vince. Much appreciated. Okay. In other words, he hasn't gambled all of his life savings away, thank goodness. Yes, and we have to say, Joe, gamble responsibly. And what's the other captions that they've got these days?
Go big or go home.
No. No, it's something like
do you know who you're gambling with? Or
no. It's something like you're probably going to lose or something along those lines.
What's the point of gambling if you're going to lose?
On all of the gambling ads, they've got it at the end there. You're closer to losing than you are to winning, or something along those lines. Anyway, that's what gambling's all about. Anyway, we're just doing it for a bit of fun. It's $10 a week.
We'll
try and raise some money for a charity.
So, Vince, we've gone through all our all we have to. Hang on.
Yep. Now, can I just ask you?
Hang on. Bet with your head.
Not over it. Yes, exactly right.
Don't chase your losses. Why not?
Yes, don't chase. Yeah, that's important because the minute you start doing that,
Imagine
it's
what you
amazing
could buy
how that's the other one. Imagine what you could buy instead. That's another one. Yes.
Instead of what?
There's another one. There's another one that says something like you're probably going to lose or something.
The only one I remember
something about losing or losses or something.
Think of what you're gambling with. Anyway, yeah, you were going to ask me something?
Think of what you can buy instead is probably a good one. What I was going to say was you weren't here last week, and Rocco and I had a bit of a chat about our best 23 and all that sort of thing, and where we think Carlton will finish. So you said in your ladder prediction that you thought Carlton would finish 5th?
Yeah.
That's the same as me. Now, how did we come up with that together? We didn't even consult each other on that one.
No. I don't know.
So what makes you think that Carlton... See, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think they'll make top 4 either. But why do you think we won't get to the top 4 that I believe all Carlton supporters quite rightly should be expecting us to achieve?
Two things.
What is it that gives you a doubt?
I don't think we've got the depth or the pace. I don't think we're fast enough through the mid. Maybe that.
Can I ask you something about that fast enough issue? I had some discussion about this the other day. Does fast enough mean that you've got to have the leg speed in your players, or does it mean how you deliver the ball and how you move the ball? Because you don't have to necessarily be full of pacey players to move the ball quickly.
I'd say it's a bit of both, but I don't think our delivery of the ball to our forwards is quality. Let's bang it down there and hope that Harry or Charlie mark, and then the small forwards are never at the feet. The guy who I thought could rove, we got rid of, Owies. Not that he was the greatest player, but at least he knew where to stand. The jury's out on Motlop and Durden. Fantasia's old. I don't know.
He's not that old. He's about 29.
Yeah, but if you're relying on Fantasia, you know, he's had more clubs than I've had girlfriends in the last week. So
he's at his third club. He's at his third club.
Yeah, well, I've only had 2 girlfriends last week. But I just don't think we tend to move the ball quick enough. I think, but having said that, when we do move it quick, right, when we do look good, right, but we don't do it enough. And I don't know if that's a direction from the coach, but I hate all this chipping around and going backwards. I think one good thing that the umpires got in the pre-season, and I saw it over the weekend, was these little chip passes that go about 2 meters, and they mark. Now, I'm probably of the view if you kick it backwards, it shouldn't be a mark. But I mean, we've all got contentions, and we've all got rules that we want change. And I know why they do it. They got it from soccer, where it's possession. And if you've got the ball, the other team haven't. But as I keep saying to people, you win it on the scoreboard, not in the stats. So I'm not saying Fantasia's not a good player. I'm just saying. I
do agree with Lou there that Fantasia has had literally a fantastic pre-season. He looked really good against GWS. His pace was terrific. His delivery was great. He kicked a goal. He looked like he was ready for a season. It's good to see. If he can keep fit.
Yeah, and same with McGovern. There's another one. He was playing great football, and then he lands and he's done his hamstring.
So are your doubts about Carlton more based around game plan or personnel or game style or what? Is it the coaches? Is it the players? Where's your focus of why you have these doubts? Is it mainly around the coaching scenario, or is it to do with just purely the quality of the personnel that we have in players?
I'd say it's 50-50. Look, but we're not privy to what the coaches say, so I don't know. The coaches may tell them to move the ball quickly through the middle, and then they don't see an option. I don't know, but I just don't think we deliver the ball well. Have a look on rebound. We give it up too easy, and opposition scores against us. I wish I could put my finger right on it, but I just don't think we've got the quality personnel that deliver the ball.
What did you think of the? Okay, go on. Sorry.
No, like Curnow and McKay are great players. Don't get me wrong, and Wiedering's a great defender. Cripps is fantastic in the middle, but to Cripps's credit, last year his kicking improved a lot because he was a bit of a hack kicker. He used to waste a lot of the ball. But to his credit, he even converted a lot of goals last year, so maybe he's worked on it. I still think our centre-half back is a bit of a problem.
Yep. So you don't think Nick Haynes is the answer there?
Well, I don't know. Is he tall enough to be a centre-half back?
Not sure. I don't think he's ever really played centre-half back. He's always played as a bit of a flanker. He's 32, but he might have to play there and free up McGovern.
Well, he's a big boy.
McGovern doesn't really play centre half back as such. He's more of an intercept marker.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we've got a genuine bona fide centre half back as such. I still don't know.
And I don't. That. Well, what about our forwards? I mean, once we get the ball, Elijah Hollands, he looks like a good player, but he looks like a plotter. He sort of runs like. He always looks like he's struggling.
He had a pretty good season last year.
He started good and he faded.
He needs to back that up now.
He started good and then faded. I think he needs another 1 or 2 pre-seasons under his belt. He's only a young guy. I mean, let's give him some credit where credit's due. He's not the most experienced.
Elijah or Ollie?
Both of them, to be honest. Both of them need to be. Ollie Hollands, I think, is the better player. He looks like he's more polished. He looks a bit more fitter. But anyway, we'll see. I still think we rely on Patrick Cripps way too much. Way too much.
So I was just going to ask you about that. What do you see the biggest threats to our success this year? I mean, is it losing key players like Cripps or, for example, Wiedering down back or
if we lose Wiedering, we're gone. If we lose Wiedering, our backline's rooted. I was going to say the F word, but we can't afford to lose him. Not until we know what the quality of Nick Haynes is like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get much game time last year at GWS, and he might surprise us all. Rocco says Elijah's better, in my opinion. Yeah, we're all entitled, but Peter, I don't know why you say lack of leadership, because I think Charlie and Harry, that may be the problem. You got 2 big bulls in the ring, and they probably both think that they're better than each other.
Can I ask you another thing? In terms of having players in our side that have come from other clubs that have had success, this is the one area that I think we lack any sort of players who have enjoyed success or been part of a successful culture. I think we missed the trick by not chasing Luke Parker. I reckon North Melbourne have done themselves a great service in getting him across from Sydney. I would have loved to have gotten Luke Parker because he has come from a successful club. He played in that premiership in 2012 that they won, and he's played in another 4 grand finals since, and essentially been part of a club that's been constantly playing in finals. We don't have anyone like that in our side. Brisbane got Luke Hodge across a few years back just to instill the sort of values and culture that makes a club successful, and we saw that work. West Coast got Sam Mitchell over there just for the 1 year to play in the team, and then the following year to be a coach of that team. an assistant coach before he then went back to Hawthorn. So I just wonder, why aren't we doing that sort of thing? Why aren't we chasing anyone who's come from a club that's got a successful culture and instill that into our players? Because the whole issue of leadership and culture really is the biggest concern I have. It has always been that, in my view, probably in the last, 25 years.
Yeah, but Collingwood didn't have anyone that had anyone on winning culture. And let's face it, when they won the premiership, who did they have that had winning culture?
Oh, well, I think you'll find that they did. I would have to go through the list, but
I don't know. Sometimes it looks like our players aren't playing for the team; they're playing for themselves. Right now, I'm going to get probably rubbished here, but if you have a look at how Jagger Smith got hurt, he had a collision with Harry McKay, right?
How Jagger Smith got hurt? Yeah.
Well, I know it happens, but no talk because everyone wants to impress in a pre-season game. I just find that the only really good guy that we've brought in, I'd say three come to mind in our club. Nick Newman, right? He had success at the Swans. Hewitt had success. And then you got Blake Acres, who's been fantastic. All right? So,
well, those guys came from clubs that played finals, yes, but they didn't achieve the ultimate success when they were there.
Yeah, but still, Hewitt and
Hewitt and Newman came from Sydney, but they haven't played in premierships.
Yeah, but they had a very good culture. The Swans.
And when you look at it,
and surely if Michael Voss had any brains, he played in a team that won 3 premierships, right? So he'd understand all about this culture. He'd understand
you'd hope so.
Well, I don't know. I just don't think sometimes we look like we want to play for the other guy. I just think sometimes the players sort of go, Patrick Cripps will do it, or Jacob Wiedering will save us in defence, or we'll just kick it to Charlie anyway and he'll get the ball and kick a goal and we'll win. I don't know, because like I said, I don't go to the games because I'm here in Bangkok. I'm just watching on the TV.
Yeah.
But that's what it looks like to me. It just looks to me that, they don't – look, that probably all be really good mates. But, like the 95 teams and the teams of the 70s and 80s, Vince, they drank together. They went out together. They hung out together. This team now, they all seem to look like I don't know. Anyway, hey, I believe it was International Women's Day the other day. Is that right?
Was it? Okay, yeah.
Well, I'd just like to wish Darcy more happy International Women's Day.
Down, Joe.
Isn't that the right thing to do?
I do want to mention one sort of lovely coincidence that's going to happen this Thursday night.
What's that?
We mentioned earlier that the club has announced that Lucas Camporeale will be playing in round 1, his first game of football against Richmond.
And his dad's going to be there?
And that's exactly 30 years not to the day, but certainly to the round.
To the round.
When Scott Camporeale played his first game for Carlton against Collingwood, in fact, it was back in 1995 in round 1, and we had a good win that day too. So 30 years have passed since Campo played his first game, and now we'll be watching his young son Lucas going around, not in the number 16, but in the number 21 jersey of his great mate Craig Bradley. Eh?
Isn't Lucas supposed to be the worst of the two?
What do you say worst?
I don't know. Got drafted lower.
Out of Ben and Lucas, Ben was considered by the so-called experts to be the slightly better one because he's the inside midfielder, whereas Lucas is more of an outside winger. I just don't know that we can say that one's better than the other. I think we just got to judge them on what they do, and they've clearly got different styles. One's more of an inside midfielder, the other one's more of an outside
Can I ask,
ball gatherer. And I think he did a really good job on the wing in that practice game. I thought he very much earned his spot in the team.
What's happened to his brother? It says he's injured. What?
He's yeah. Is it a hamstring?
Mama,
I think.
I am being serious. I was wishing Darcy a happy International Women's Day.
Oh,
Come on, we're making a bit of fun. Anyway, Vince, we're nearly. Our time is nearly up. So,
yep.
Unless anyone has got anything else to say.
Well, anyway, what I was going to ask you one last question before. By the way, we do welcome all your comments. If you've got any opinions to express to us, we'd be very interested to hear them.
I like this comment.
Campo boys will go past the Dacos boys. Yes. Well, you'd love to think so, wouldn't you? If they do,
I hope so.
Boy, oh boy, we're going to be in for some success over the next 10 years.
And apparently Andrew Walker's son's pretty
I
good
can tell you one,
so.
young Cody Walker. I remember when he was born, my goodness me. Yes, he's up there in Echuca, absolutely killing it up there. So I think you can look forward to seeing young Darcy. Did I say young Darcy? Cody, I should say. You got me all confused with your Darcy Moore comment. Cody, you'll see Cody playing in a Carlton Guernsey within the next couple of years, I reckon.
That's it. What was your last question?
My last question was going to be, other than Patrick Cripps and Jacob Wiedering, who are the obvious two players we can least do without, is there any other player that you think is crucial to our team? And if he does happen to go down, it basically affects us too much to be able to win a premiership?
I would say either Charlie or Harry, because we do rely on those two twin towers.
Yeah. I don't agree with you.
Well, what about TDK?
That's my choice, TDK. DeConnie in the ruck, if he goes down, I reckon we're in real trouble. If we've got to rely on Pitnet and Silvani and Harry to pinch hit a little bit here and there, I just think we're in a world of pain. TDK, we really need him to stand up again this year, and we can at least afford to have him go down injured. See, Cripps, you can technically, even though he's a champion, and we know that, he's a dual Brownlow medalist and the captain of our team, he's a midfielder. So you can sort of cover midfielders with other midfielders. They might not be quite as good, but you have got others that can step up. Wiedering, I agree with you. Fullback, if he doesn't play there and he goes down, we're in trouble. Although, again, some people would say, well, you bring in a Lewis Young or someone like that and he'll at least do the job. He won't do it as good as Wiedering, but he'll cover for him to some extent. I reckon TDK is the one that we can least afford because I just don't see anybody else covering for him anywhere near as well. And when he went down late last year, I think it was in the North Melbourne game, we never recovered. We never recovered after that. We were terrible. We were bottom four material. So I think TDK is a crucial member of this team.
I do too.
Anyway, let's talk about what's coming up this week, eh?
Well, let's talk about it. So we've got Tuesday night. You've got the jumper punch with the boys, and
no doubt they'll have some highlights of their live show that they did in Reservoir yesterday. I would expect them to have some sort of highlights package, or someone must have been videoing it. Surely, I would have thought.
Surely, yeah. And then what night's Rash on with his
Rash with the change room. Yeah, Rash and Sam with the change room. I'm not sure that they're back just yet. It might not be this Thursday. It might be the following Thursday. But look, don't quote me, but check the Jumper Punch channel for more information. And I can tell you one thing. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get all the notifications of all of the shows as they're coming up. So that's the thing to do. Press that subscribe button. And have a look at the Facebook page, the Jumper Punch, and even on our Facebook page, Blue Sunday, because we do do it. I do agree. People, let's hit the like button and share. Let's try and get this show really happening. Get a lot of that would be much appreciated if you
can. Carlton people on board, and next week when you've got Reese on.
And by the way, can I just say to all of our viewers out there,
you're not sending Cheerios or
no Cheerios. No, what I was going to ask was no Cheerios. What I was going to ask was if you have any ideas about what you'd like us to to cover or to
Yeah.
do on this show. If there's a new segment that you've got an idea for, or there's anything you'd particularly like of us to see on a Sunday night after
What-
the round of
Like
football has
Vince's
been
restaurant
completed.
review of where to get a good pasta or a pizza.
Oh boy,
Hey,
oh boy.
We had the verdict on first, so we spoke
you
about
must have come
opening
on a
round.
bit. You must have come on a bit later. We spoke about opening round, so go back and
Go back
have
and
another
watch
look.
it.
Go
Go
back and watch it
watch
at the
it.
start. Yeah.
No, but if people do have any ideas or want us to do something, if there's any players you would try and like us to get, we can't promise. Vince tries his best, and we do appreciate all of that. Oh, Vince, this is the good one.
When is Alan Chini round again? Yes, that's a good question, Pete. I'll have to talk to Joe about it because what did we do that for last year? The Alan Chini. What was that about?
The Reese's thing. The 16 for 16 or 15 for 15 or whatever it was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The Prada Willie.
Yeah, Prada Willie.
Foundation.
Maybe we
whatever
might
it
do
is.
it again. No, we might have an arancini round. I don't know. And being in Thailand, I'll have a satay round or something. Anyway.
Yep, one of those.
So look, on that note, thank you everybody for watching. We really appreciate your comments and your viewing. I know it's Monday night and it's probably late. Don't forget, we will be on every Sunday night, 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Unless Carlton's playing.
Yeah, or it's a public holiday like today.
Like this weekend.
We just thought it best because everyone might have been away yesterday for Sunday. So on that note, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me, and we'll see you next Sunday night at 7:30 p.m.
And hopefully we'll be talking about a Carlton victory. Okay?